Welcome to Wholesale Hardknocks. This podcast was created by me and Daryll squatting up together and doing badass shit. And we want y'all to do the same. So most importantly, squat up in the comments and do deals together. And then like the video, subscribe to the channels. Yo, Daryll, take them away, big dog.
It's about community building. Join the community, reach out, squat up, join the campfire, baby.
Let's go, man. Welcome back to Wholesale Hardknocks. It's episode 50. Episode 50, Mike. Bro. You need to hit all of them, bro. Hit them all. Hit them all, bro.
It's a party today, yo.
We got to turn up one time.
Right. Dang,
Yo,
bro.
Because did you think, like, were you thinking this far ahead when you pulled me out of my shell and brought me onto this show?
Of course, bro. Of course. I really was. And matter of fact, I think I talked about this the other day. I literally was watching a Wholesale Hardknocks episode like a month or so ago. And I was looking back at our previous episodes, like back in the day, like back about a year ago. Yeah. Literally, I said, bro, both of us in 6 to 12 months are going to be in a whole different position. This is like one of the first episodes I said this. I was like, we're going to be completely different people in 6 to 12 months. And now look at me and Daryll. We are completely different people.
You think so, bro?
100%.
So? A little bit, just a little bit.
I mean, I've seen it in you. You've changed a lot too, like for the better.
Bro, both of us, facts. It's been amazing, bro. I'm grateful for you. Grateful for everybody that tunes in. Like, we're able to jump out here every single week, and we changed lives, bro. Like, the value that we put out every single week on Wholesale Hardknocks, like, people literally come up to me and say thank you. Like, I had somebody come up to me in Texas a few weeks back and said, I got my first 5 deals watching your content, watching Wholesale Hardknocks, right? Joining every single week. And we're going to have to bring him in, bro, because it's insane. Like, we're actually helping a lot of people, right?
100%.
So I'm grateful for you, bro. Grateful for everybody that's tuning in. Mike, you want to tell the people what we got in store today?
So this is one of you guys' favorite episodes that we do. We do a hot seat where we break down somebody's business, figure out what their business looks like, figure out what their goals are, and how we can help them accomplish their goals. It's probably my favorite type of episode. Here's why. My business has been put on a hot seat multiple times from mentors of my own. And every single time that it gets put on a hot seat, I leave that room and I go make like 2 to 3 times much more money than I was before with just a couple tweaks, because people like your mentors will see things way ahead of the future than you do, and they will just collapse time, right? So every single time that my mentors have put my business in a hot seat, it is literally collapsed time for me, like by a significant amount. So that's why it's my favorite type of episode. But today we got my guy Amby and my guy Wilkin here. They're freaking killers. The one thing I really, really love about both of these guys is that they have been reaching out to me for like months now with just problems to solve. Like, it's like time after time again, they have some sort of problems in their business that they need solving. It just shows that they are freaking action takers. And I freaking love it. So I'm excited for today.
Bro, can we talk about that real quick before we bring these freaking studs on? Like, if you don't have problems, you don't have a business. Like, you're obviously not doing business. Like, if you don't have issues that you're dealing with on a daily basis, all that means is you're not talking to enough people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, Mike, but I haven't done any deal that didn't come with problems. Every deal has a problem. Every deal has a problem.
The coolest part is they all have like a unique problem to it that you learn from.
For sure. But with that being said, bro, like I watched these dudes too when they first joined Sub 2. Like, they were on every single daily dial, just getting it in, right? Mm-hmm. Just making sure they get the reps in, right? And now they're doing it. They're doing the business, right? Coming to you with problems, like you said. So with that being said, bring up Wilkin and Amby. What's going on, fellas?
Let's go.
Super excited to be here, man. Super excited.
Yes, sir, bro. Is that a bandit sign in the back of your in the room?
Yes, sir. That's a bandit sign, bro. Whenever
Did you tear that one down or what?
they're all gone now. I think that's the only one that's up now.
Bro, you wholesaling in 2005 or something, bro?
Believe it or not, bro, depending on your market, bandit signs can work.
Man, it doesn't work in Jersey. It's
He
just
said,
Not
"Not
New
a big
Jersey.
man. That number is so old. That's like my old phone number. Put
Oh,
like
yeah.
over like 200 or 500 bandit signs, but they just keep taking them down.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
right. Them things, bro. So, fellas, we'll start off with Wilk, and then we'll get over to Amby. Introduce yourselves, like what you guys got going on and all that.
Cool. Well, my name is Wilkin. I'm from New Jersey, and my partner's Amby. We work in a couple markets, so we doing some acquisitions, cold calling. Our goals is get deals under contract. We have our own construction crew, so we're trying to start buying flips and wholesaling. So that's just what we're doing. That's what we do full time, and we're just trying to get out there every day, man. Trying to get 1% better.
I love it. Amby, what up, big dog?
Yeah, so what's going on? So my name is Amby. Of course, Wilkin, my partner. And just piggyback on what Wilkin's saying, we're really just trying to get after it. We started our own business last September for about a year. We made a lot of money, but we fucked up a lot, I say. And the only reason is because we didn't have no guidance, I'll say. And our mentality changed from wholesaling to flipping because of just one deal. So we came across this one deal and we sold it for, I believe, was it 20K? Yeah, roughly around 20K. We sold it for around roughly 20K. And the guy we sold it to literally put $1,000 into the property and resold it for 100,000 profit. My mind just like, wow. So we just missed on 100,000 because we didn't have the funds for it.
Yeah, you know what's crazy, bro? That happened to me my very first deal too, right? I did the same thing. My buyer, he ended up putting like 20,000 into it, and this dude, he same thing. He made like 80 to 100K on the deal. Like a couple months later, this dude called me up, took me out to lunch, and just slid the HUD across the table to me. And he was like, you look what I did on this deal that you sent me. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. My first thought was like, I tried to sell this to you for more, and you negotiated with me. You showed me all this. What do you mean, bro? Like, I could have made more money. And he's like, you gotta know the game, right? And we sat there, and he gave me sauce. So I hope this dude at least gave y'all some sauce and showed y'all what he did.
So I want to ask, how did you find this buyer? Like, what was the process of going out and marketing to this specific buyer?
I mean, someone we already connected with, so he was like more like a friend. And he was helping us like sell wholesale deals and stuff.
Dang.
Because we were just focused, just get started out. We were just trying to focus, calling sellers, learning that process. He was helping with the buyers, but this was a really good deal. It was two deals actually. It was that one and a condo, but same situation. And yeah, he bought it.
Love it, dude. So very similar to Daryl's situation. One of my first deals was very, very similar. And I'm not like counting pockets or anything like that, but my buyer was my only buyer, and he had the leverage to negotiate with me like crazy. And we ended up in like a freaking frenzy, almost yelling at each other over the phone about what the assignment fee was going to be. Right? It all would have been prevented if I just sent it over to a dispo wholesaler. Now, I'm glad that I got the deal done with the guy because he brought me so much value, and he knew that he knew that my first deal was going to go to him and everything like that. And I promised him, because he gave me so much game and everything like that, that he was going to get my first deal. So I'm glad that I gave him the deal. But the problem was for the actual like transaction itself was that there wasn't multiple buyers on the deal. And I learned very quick. Once I learned that, okay, if I'm ever going to dispo on my own, I'm having multiple buyers on every single deal, because I'm never getting put in a corner where a buyer can tell me, no, you have to be at this price or that price or whatever the case is. So here's what happened. I started doing my own dispo and I started trying to get a bunch of buyers on one deal. And then I realized that I was wasting my freaking time because all these other people that were doing dispo did it full time. And they had buyers lists that were like this, like crazy.
Yeah.
So they would sell my deals for more. Like I would, even if I did a 50-50 split or whatever our split was, I would make more money selling it with them than I would just selling it on my own because they had a much bigger buyers list and everything like that because they were out looking for buyers all day. I'm out looking to get contracts all day. It's completely different. You see what I mean? So I highly recommend if you guys are doing direct to seller marketing right now, just stick to direct to seller marketing and you will not end up in this situation because Amby and Wilkin, I can imagine, even though, you did get an idea like, damn, I should just start fixing and flipping because this guy made a ton of money. That's just one deal. Like fixing and flipping is not as sexy as that deal, or is not as sexy as HGTV. You know what I'm saying? Like fixing and flipping is a hard game. Okay. But if you're doing direct to seller and you just sent this over to a dispo house that has a bunch of buyers, you probably would have ended up with a crazy big spread. You know what I mean? Because they have the buyers that understand, hey, I'm going to make $100,000 on this property. I'm able to come up another freaking 50 to 60 grand. And then you would have been able to wholesale it and boom, major. Or you could have just done an novation agreement or done the wholesale yourself. But it comes down to resources and everything like that. That's really what it is. So explain, like, when you guys had this deal, how like, what was the number? Like how many deals was this in? Was this your first deal? Was this your fourth deal?
Oh, that
Third.
Okay, so it was about your third deal. So it's like one of your first types of deals. And then from there, you see somebody make a shit ton of money. So you're like, all right, screw this wholesaling thing. I'm just going to start buying deals myself.
Nah, we wholesale a whole bunch of other deals afterwards because those numbers were tight. We knew those numbers were tight. We knew our numbers after that.
See, okay.
Yeah, we also that was like maybe like our seventh deal, but working together because we wholesale deal before on our own. So I think my second or third deal was a flip that I already bought. So by the time we got to this deal, it was like already like, I don't know, like my 11th deal. So I had some skin in the game. So it was easy enough buying the deal. So it kind of hurt. The beginning is cool to wholesale them, but when it's such an easy deal like that, it hurts.
Yeah, 100%. Those deals, like when those deals come across the table and you can easily just close on them or do an novation agreement, I highly recommend just doing that. Like if they're almost retail ready and the spread is crazy, always try to just do a wholesale or an novation agreement.
Yeah, so you guys, sounds like you guys did a lot of deals your first year, more than average, right? More than average people that we've had up here, more than just the average wholesaler in general. What does your business look like now, like today?
So let's see. We doing cold calling. So it's kind of been like this, to be honest, because we started with our business. We had we're paying for marketing. We hired a couple people, which is crazy. Then we started getting a few deals. We closed them, wholesale them. But then we kind of wanted to get under somebody and learn, get in someone's team and learn sales because we just really wanted to master that. Because, we kind of went down here because we hired a lot of people, so we had to start from scratch. So, let's just join someone's team. And then we joined someone's team. And that didn't work out well, so now we're here now.
Both join the same team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. And why didn't that work out?
Well, basically, it wasn't what we were looking for. We really wasn't getting the sales training we wanted. So what we had going on before was better. So we just decided to do our thing better again. So now we're here.
Okay. Okay, so you joined this person's team and you just weren't getting the right training. Were you getting enough opportunities? It's just they weren't presenting you with the training on how to close the deals, or?
We, I mean, we started cold calling again, so it's kind of weird because he was just kind of started building his team. He was a good closer too. We're still cool, but long story short, like we kind of just started cold calling. We were, making a lot of cold calls. We started getting a couple leads, but
Got it. So you guys were
Yeah.
yourselves.
say it again.
You guys were cold calling yourselves.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh man.
We just
Okay.
we just noticed it was gonna be a longer process to it was just gonna be a longer process for us. So it was like might as well just rebuild what we had before and this time do it the right way with the
Dude,
right guidance.
it's a very, very long process. So if you're cold calling and then you have to follow up and then you have to close and then you have to go sell the deal and everything, like holy crap, that's so many damn steps. That's a lot of freaking steps. That's like doing everything on your own. I was just breaking a deal down for the Blueprint Facebook community. I did a Zoom and we went over one of our deals that we did. The lead was generated in I think it was beginning of July. And it wasn't even generated actually. My VA just talked to them and it ended up in a follow-up for my VA for the cold caller. And then the cold caller followed up like a month later, and then the lead got generated. And then it went to the lead manager. And then it went to the closer. And then it went to an appointment. And then it didn't get completely locked up until like the end of September or something like that. And that's a quick deal. And then we didn't close for another like 2-3 months or something like that. So that's a long process. That's like 6 months or something, right? And that's kind of quick, right? So think about this. If you're cold calling and then you have to follow up and then you have to close and then you have to sell the deal, like, dude, that's going to take way too long.
Yeah.
You got to think too, right? Cold calling, that's a job that we literally pay. Like I just hired 4 cold callers today. We're paying them $3 an hour, right? If you're cold calling, you're saying that your time is worth $3 an hour, pretty much. If you're cold calling yourself, you're saying that your time is worth $3 an hour. Like you can find somebody, like, if you want to actually close deals, and this is speaking through y'all, right? Because I'm sure you guys aren't cold calling right now. If you guys want to close deals, get yourself off the dialer, like the cold call dialer, as fast as you can, and talk to people who are actually like raised their hand and said, I want to sell. Because like Mike was saying, that's such a long process, right? So Amby and Wilkin, you guys, before you joined somebody's team, you mentioned you had VAs, you hired a whole bunch of people. Let's backtrack a little bit and let's talk about that. Where did you go wrong that first time?
So I'll say the first time what we went wrong was first, I'll start with the beginning at the beginning. So the beginning, we said, yo, let's partner up. I'll be the acquisition, you'll be the dispo, Wilkin. And he pulled the list, we did everything. I started cold calling myself. And then Wilkin had 2 friends that he started cold calling for him. So the first month, I came across a deal. Literally, the second week, came across the lead. The guy said he wanted like 270 for both properties. And I got him down to 220. Then we got him down to 220. Wilkin found a buyer for 270. So we made a profit in a month, probably in a month, just us getting together. Made about 60,000.
Tough.
So we split that. Then we gave 10,000. It was some crazy thing. We gave 10,000 to that friend that we sold the deal to later on. So we made Wilkin and I 20,000. With those 20,000, what we did with that money is like, yo, let's hire more people. So we hired some of our friends. He hired some of his friends. So we had like 4 or 5 cold callers. And what we wanted to so once we hired those 4 or 5 cold callers, our monthly subscription went up. It was like at 2,000, 3,000 each month. So 3 months passed, we kind of went broke. That 20,000 was gone.
Were you paying? What were you paying them hourly? Your friends?
Well, we was gonna pay them by commission, but I gave them money up front so they could join the team. I know it's crazy, but yeah, it's crazy.
Wish I had a boss like you if I was working, bro.
I was balling. He was balling.
Hey, that boy just made 20 racks. He's like, I want a job. You want a job? I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, we was balling. We was balling. So that was one mistake. We was trying to scale fast. We lost a lot of money. We lost a lot of money. Then we started firing people little by little. Gotta go. Gotta
Mhm.
go. Gotta go. By the time we went back from square one from September, how we had it. We got another deal locked up. We made a big check there. We made a big check there. Now we trying to get back on our feet. That's when we joined sub two. I froze, right?
Yeah.
I froze, right?
Yeah.
So
I
that's
got
when that
Let's go.
yeah. So we closed another deal, and that was another like 16,000. Wook and I worked hard on that deal. We had to take the tenant out, so we had to pay like the tenant 6K or 7K. But we know the spread was gonna be big. Closed out the deal. That's when we joined sub two, and we got more guidance. And my initial thought, I was talking to Wilkin about this. Yo, our first deal, we should have joined sub two. And the crazy part is, we was thinking of we spoke about it. Yo, let's join sub two for our first deal. But that whole thing went out our mind as soon as we closed that deal and that check came in. You want to add anything, Wilkin?
Oh yeah. Yeah, ever since that we joined sub two. We got a couple more deals. That was like 2000. That was last year, I think. Yeah, in the beginning of last year, we got a couple deals throughout the year. And now this year we got a couple deals. We've been closing like about a deal a month. And now we're here where we hired 2 VAs now. They're pretty good on the phones, and we have them calling, now down on the phones. Now we still have 2 friends that are hitting it part-time. We're not paying them like hourly. We're just paying them commission. They doing follow-ups and stuff like that. And that's where we at now, man. Just trying to do it right, get a guidance from somebody like Mike, and yourself, Daryl, and get after it.
Love it. So you have you said right now in this moment you have 2 co-callers and 2 homies that are helping you out doing the calling.
Yeah, 3 technically, 3. Yeah,
3 homies that are doing the calling.
yeah.
Kind of the lead managing.
Love it. And you said that's like a part-time type of deal?
Wait, who? The our guys that we have?
Your homies, yeah.
Yeah, so 2 of them, they pretty much like they do it full time, but they're getting a job too, and they're just doing this full time in the job. And then the other one, we kind of just met him, and we just have him here. He helping us like do cold calls and following up. He's been closing deals, but he doesn't have leads to call, so we looking out for him.
Love it. Okay, Daryl, what is your suggestion with that?
You see the smile on my face, bro. I'm like, I'm ready. But so I want y'all to think of this, right? So if you don't treat your wholesale business like a business, like a full-blown operation, you're not going to get the results that you want, right? So think about any job that y'all ever had. Think about McDonald's, right? Like, not saying I work at McDonald's. Think about McDonald's, right? You think they have anybody who's like working 2 jobs at the same time? Even if it's like a really low-level job, you think they have anybody that's working, flipping burgers and like taking calls somewhere else? You know what I mean? You need people on your team that are there, like that are with you full time. Like, and when they join, it needs to be certain systems, operations, and step by step for them to follow everything, right? Because this is a business. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how y'all eat. And forget y'all eating, right? You have 2 VAs that are getting paid hourly, that they have families that are eating from y'all, right? So what I say every time I have a friend or family member that wants to join like what I'm doing is I have this conversation with them up front, and I'm like, look, if you're going to do this, you need to do it. You need to do it seriously, because I don't play about this. This is what I put my 100% time into this. Like, do y'all work anywhere else? Or is this what y'all do full time?
Not right now. We're not working nowhere else. We getting our CDL job for a school bus because it gets flexible. So we still doing real estate full time.
So if y'all are gonna do this full time, you need people on your team that are gonna do this full time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because what's gonna happen is they're not gonna take it serious. And when you have follow-ups that need to be followed up with, it's just not going to happen, right? Or else y'all going to have to get back on the phones, or whoever is being the sales manager needs to follow up. Like, you're going to need to be on the phone more than your closers are going to be on, right? So like first things first, like I would only bring people onto the team if they had 6 to 8 hours a day to put into this. And that would be the main qualification is your time, right? I had somebody reach out to me the other day. They were like, you probably are looking for somebody that, because we just hired some dispo and acquisitions people too. And they're like, you're probably looking for somebody that's like really experienced, huh? And I'm like, no, you just need time and drive. That's it. And
Yeah, that's literally it. And make sure that they actually have the time. So like when you onboard them, because a lot of people will, just like in interviews, and this is just in any industry, somebody will come in and they'll pretend like, they talk a good talk. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And they say that they're going to be working a lot and all this type of stuff because they're super excited about the deal. They're super excited about the job. And then all of a sudden they get into the deal and you start seeing these little signs. You start seeing them being late here and there. You start seeing their production not really there, right?
Yep.
I still have a big problem with this. I'm too freaking nice. I'll see it and I'll just take the excuses and I'll be like, okay. All right, you'll get there, bro. Or you'll get there. Like, okay, I'm waiting for you. And then it just never happens, right? I had one virtual assistant one time, right? She was having a hard time generating leads. And I'm like super confused because her dials are good. She's having, like, I get on call calibrations with her and I listen to some of her conversations and she's having decent conversations. And I'm just like, what the heck is going on? Why is she not generating the leads that everybody else is generating? So instead of me like checking her on it, I just said, you know what? Why don't we do this? Why don't we just have you go on a driving for dollars campaign virtually where you don't have to talk to anybody? Because I'm putting in my brain like that it's my fault. I'm not giving her good enough training or something like that, right? I'm putting it on me. And then all of a sudden I have her go do this driving for dollars thing. Okay. You'll add about like 50 to 100 properties probably an hour when you're doing that thing, right? You're virtually on Google Maps. You just press a little button and it goes into the system. It's super easy. It's the easiest job that you have. And I'm like, hey, get on here. Teach her how to do the whole entire thing. She goes the first day for a whole 8 hours and adds 15 properties. Okay. This is after she was having a tough time generating leads for like 2 months. By the way, she told me that she had a lot of experience, like 2 years worth of cold calling experience. So I'm like, okay, why are you not generating any leads? Put her on driving for dollars. First time she adds 15 properties. So she comes to work the next day and I'm like, hey, what happened? Why was there only 15 properties added? Am I missing something? And she's like, oh, I just had a really tough time maneuvering and getting used to the system. So I'm like, all right. Okay. She starts for 1 hour that one day. The first hour, she adds like 70 something properties. It was like over 50. That's how many she added in the first hour. Obviously, that tells me if you don't just change overnight. You know what I mean? You just all of a sudden add 50 properties a whole day. Yesterday you only added 15. That just showed me that she was not working. So she was BSing me when she was on the dialer. She would let the dialer run. And then sometimes she would miss a call and she would be like, it is what it is. Sometimes she'd get on a call and actually have a conversation, but she just wasn't putting the work in. You know what I mean? And it took me that whole entire time. I didn't look at the signs, right? I didn't look at the signs in the beginning like, dude, it's not your fault, Mike. You know what I'm saying? It's not your fault. It's just a problem with her. She's just not a worker. It is what it is. So I had to get rid of her that day. That day, literally, that hour that she generated 50 leads, I told her, that she did like 50 driving for dollar leads. I told her, we're not a good fit anymore.
Wow.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's
and dude,
crazy.
it's taking me so, and I still struggle with this today, where I'm just like, I am too nice. I just hold on to people for too long and give them too much leeway. But in a business, bro, to Daryl's point, Daryl's like, yo, Mike, you have these VAs here who have families that need to be fed. You have a family that needs to be fed. You have acquisition managers that have a family that needs to be fed. This is not fair. You're
Yep.
spending dollars, marketing dollars, and spending time and energy on somebody that isn't producing.
Bro, and it's real, right? Like, especially what you were just talking about, Mike. Let me ask, Wilk and Amby, how are these guys performing on your team? Not to call them out, right? But how are they performing right now?
The VAs or
The acquisitions, your friends.
they're good. They've been with us since day one. So they be cold calling. You know, they've been following up because they're not. We don't have them there as like the closers. Like we do the follows ourselves. You know,
Okay.
but we generate leads. They generate some of their leads and they follow up and send us to us so we can close the deal. So they're
Okay.
good. You know, they're good so far. And now they were doing it full time. But now they're gonna get some job like with CDL, but it's only like 4 to 5 hours, so they're gonna be in this full time as well. They're gonna be helping us with the marketing, so it's a win-win.
Love it. So what I was getting at is not that these people aren't working or that they stink at working or they're not taking it serious or something, but I'm more so piggybacking off of what Daryl's saying, where it's like you need people that are really serious. So even if they're like, hey, I have to go find another job, it's okay. You can go find another job, but like I need somebody here full time. I need somebody here banging the phones like full time, even if you're not there full time. Dude, I'm not in my business full time. I'm probably in my wholesale business like 2 or 3 hours a day.
So yeah, so Mike, so we Daryl, let us know about our plans. So basically, what we trying to do is turn these two guys into lead manager or and closers.
Mhm.
And right now we kind of wearing both of the hats, kind of lead manager, not lead manager as well, but as a closer. That's the hat we're wearing right now. So I want to turn them into a closer so I can replace myself
Well, you said they've been
from
with you
from
for
being a closer. Yet they've been with us since day one, and they've been cold calling for us since day one.
why are they still in that position? Is it lack of talent? Like why are they still in that position? Because y'all started off cold calling too, no?
Yeah, they was cold calling
Yeah,
the whole time. They
this
just
cold
not like
calling. Now they just went
Yeah,
into
no.
lead man.
Like why? Because like human progression, right? Like after a year of them cold calling, somebody who actually wants to do it, they're gonna be like, yo, why am I still cold calling? There's not many people who fucking like cold calling, you know what I'm saying? Like, why? So like my question is like, why are they still in that position right now? If y'all already have VAs cold calling, why are they still there and not lead managing and closing now?
oh, that's what they're doing. We just hired the VAs a couple days ago,
Okay.
so they're helping us
Yeah.
train the VA, and we're training the VA. So the VAs,
Okay.
because the VA just started, so they're still cold calling, so we can generate leads. And now when the VAs are taking on, they go. Well, VAs already calling, we're generating leads.
Mhm.
But the goal is to have them as lead manager now, because they were cold calling before, but we didn't have to hire VAs since they were free. We just all working as a team.
Okay, so they're trying to uplift to lead manager right now.
Yeah.
So let's think about this. If Amby, let's just say you have, you're an engineer and you're working at an engineer business, right? And your boss comes up to you and he says, "Hey, Amby, I really like the work that you've been doing. I want to give you a promotion." And Amby's like, "Yes, finally I get my promotion. But also I'm thinking about taking this other job on the side too, part-time. But this job, this raise needs your time, needs your nurturing, it needs all your time and energy." How would Amby's boss feel about Amby going out and getting another part-time job when this job is going to actually need you to work overtime?
Not too good.
You see what I'm saying? So even though they are uplifting, and who knows, these guys are probably freaking amazing. They're probably great. But I'm just saying the moral of the story is everybody on your team needs to be on the same page, right? Everybody needs to be on the same playing field, like hammering it. That's it. We're a family here. We're a family doing this thing together, right? What happens is you create an environment when you have some people doing part-time, some people doing full-time, some people bullshitting, some people crushing it. Like everybody has to be on one heartbeat.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It's just like a football team or something like that. Everybody got to be on the same page. You don't see somebody on a football team, bullshit and only coming to practice half of the time. Or I'm not saying that they're bullshitting, but like they show up every single practice. They're obligated to show up for the practice, and it's a family. Yeah. And that's the environment that you want to create. So you're trying to create this environment for when you guys scale out of it, the environment just is dope without you even there. And that's really what you want.
Yeah, you know what happens when there's like, and again, not saying that these guys are bad apples or cancerous, right? But when you have a team that's operating on one level, and you have, so for instance, all right, let me say it like this. So Nick wouldn't mind me telling this story at all, right? So Nick was on my team. He was one of my closers. He was actually on Wholesale Hardknocks. We gave him. He was actually the first hot seat, right? Nick was the best closer I had on my team, right? He's closing deals, but with Nick, he was closing deals like without effort almost, right? So he would only have to make a couple calls and he get a contract. He wouldn't really follow up on his leads and he really wouldn't leave notes, right? But he would still get deals, right? Now he wasn't performing to his highest level, but he was skating, right? He was just getting by, right? Getting a deal a month, contract a month, right? And what happens when you bring new hires on, new team members on, and they see the person who's performing the best is doing half-ass work and is still performing? They're going to think that they can do the same thing, right? They're going to think that they can skip steps, and they can't. That's not the reality of it, right? And you have to be able to see that and cut them out, right? When Nick was no longer on my team, when Nick left, right, we had some closers that were less talented, but everybody was operating on the same level. They were doing the same exact thing, right? Following the same steps. And we started closing more deals because of that, right? So they say that, but when I was playing football, I used to say that all the time. You had to cut the cancer, right? When you cut the cancer, because it spreads, right? Cancer spreads to other cells, and that bad apple is going to infect everybody else on your team, and they're going to think that they can operate that way, So
yeah, and they're not even doing it out of operating out of a place of where they're trying to cause you harm. Like they're trying to do good. They're trying to bring value to you. They're trying to close deals for you and all these types of things. It's just without them knowing, it ends up being a bad. It gives kind of like what you said, Daryl, like a bad apple type of feeling to the whole team.
Yeah, for sure.
Without even like realizing that it's a bad apple because he's crushing it, doing deals and stuff like that. It's just like a bad reputation, I guess I would say.
Oh, 1,000%, bro. And trust me, like one of the things that sucks, so like I'm doing this right now, right? Like I learned to be the opposite of Mike, right? I fire super fast. Like as soon as I see that production is dropping, I give them we have a meeting, right? We'll have a one-on-one meeting, and then they have a probationary period, right? So we go next 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. If you don't hit your numbers during this probationary period, you're off the team, right? And this expectation is set in the beginning of them being hired. Like the first day of them being hired, we tell them, these are your numbers. To be a part of this team, it means you expect to hit your numbers. And if you don't hit your numbers, we have a meeting, we have a one-on-one and during that one-on-one, we go back over our training, we go back over our SOPs, and then we meet every single day for these next 3 weeks until your numbers start to go back up, right? We'll meet for an hour and go over the training so I can make sure that it's not a me thing, right? Like I'm making sure that I'm giving you all the tools that you need to be successful. And if you're still not successful, you're telling me that you're choosing not to be successful, right? Because you're not taking you're just not making the calls, or you're just not good at this, right? Like to be frank honest, you're just not good at this, right? And there's no room for that on my team. And I tell them that, and they understand, right? They're perfectly fine with it because we set the expectations up front. So it's no hard feelings, right? Like I always tell them, it's no hard feelings. Like we get everybody that I've ever fired, we are still really cool. Like I've had a couple people like recently just send me texts saying how grateful they were just for the opportunity and for learning this stuff. And this is months after I let them go, right? Because they understand that they're not. If once you start taking it serious, they're gonna start taking it serious, or they're gonna weed themselves out. So that's the one thing that I learned as well. Like it's never their fault. It's always your fault, right? There's no bad. There's bad employees, yes, but most of the time it's bad managers, right? You need to be able to manage to a T. Like I just recently, like just the other day, I had to let somebody go, and I'm going back right now. Like I'm getting back on the calls. Dang, I think I lost everybody.
Now you're good, bro.
Good. Okay, I can't see nobody on my screen, but damn, that threw me off a little bit. But I had to let somebody go recently, and I'm going back. And Mike, I was just telling you, I just locked up a deal. I've been on the phone 3 days, and I was sitting in his pipeline, bro. It was just sitting there, and that's not his fault. That's my fault because I'm not on top of it as the manager. You know what I mean? So y'all have to bring people on that are just as locked in as y'all. And if y'all like, and just to be straight up, like Wilkin, you said that you guys are looking to get your CDLs and all that.
Yeah, now
We lost him.
We lost him. I do like what he's getting into though. So like at the end of the day, when stuff's not going right in business, it's not our fault. I mean, it is our fault, but sometimes it's not our fault for what the actions that particular employee is taking. You see what I mean? So we'll wreck our brains sometimes about like a sales guy not doing their job, and we'll think that it's our training. We'll think that it's our fault completely. It's our fault that he's still in the position. It's our fault that our
Mhm.
business is not working, but it's not our fault that he is not operating at the highest level possible, right? So sometimes we gotta know that, because what will happen is if you think the reason why he's not producing is your fault, if you think that it's your fault, you're gonna find yourself trying to help him like me, like like that VA. Like I found myself like just trying to help her, getting on more call calibrations and everything like that, and just stringing along the process when I should have just got rid of her in the beginning when she wasn't a good fit. Right. So I thought that it was my fault that she wasn't performing when it really wasn't. It was just, bro, you guys see all these different types of personality types. You guys see all these different types of people that walk this earth that are raised differently. It's not just in America, it's everywhere else. Everybody's raised differently. Everybody has different work ethic, different morals, different everything. And it's throughout the entire humanity. Right. So some people just aren't going to get the job done, and that's okay. But it's not your fault that they're not getting the job done, but it is your fault that they're still in that position, not producing for your business.
Facts. Facts. So
So
what? Go ahead, Mike. Yo,
what,
go ahead. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
what I was going to say is, like, from here, you guys have a couple virtual assistants generating leads. You guys want to bring these guys up to lead managers. Like, what was your ultimate goal
with the VAs.
with everything? Like, what are you trying to see this operation be? I know you said you want to see them be lead managers, and do you want them to be closers, and then you guys just be out of the business? Like, what does the timeline look like? What does all that look like?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. I'll say a little bit now. I'll let Amby continue. So, these guys. So right now they're going to lead managers. We want to have obviously a flowing business where we're cold calling and we're closing deals. You know, our goal is to start doing flipping. You know, we already have one flip on our belt, so we have some experience. So we're trying to get into a little bit flipping only good deals, and then have wholesale deals where we're closing them or they're helping us close it. Then eventually, like I like the disposition a lot, so like I get a lot of dispo deals from like other wholesalers, and I'm also follow up on realtors. So the goal is, you know, have it autopilot. You know, not straight autopilot. You still got to work on that, but having the VAs generating leads, you know, having our guys following up on them, and me doing a little bit of follow up as well as Amby closing deals, trying to sell deals, and then just running, fixing flips and wholesale deals. And now we're also, you know, we're getting into like the credit card business as well. That's a whole nother ball game.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, picking up what Wilkins saying. These two VAs that we hire, they're really good. I'm gonna be honest with you. They're pretty good, and we're thinking of having those two VAs into lead manager soon, maybe in 3-6 months, and have those VAs train the cold callers. So, and then the lead managers that we have right now, the two buddies, had them closing deals. And then we just completed out the business where we just jump into business, see what's going on. Just like how Daryll said, if I gotta jump in to close one deal, I'll close in, boom, boom, boom. And now it's just an automated business for us. And now Wilkin and I could go somewhere else and build other businesses,
I love
such
it.
as credit card business, a trucking business, something else where we could generate more income.
These guys are freaking hustlers.
Facts.
So that's
Great.
kind of the goal for that's kind of the goal for the year. Basically start the wholesale, put a lot of time at for the wholesale business in the beginning.
Let's talk about that.
Go ahead.
That's where the focus is. Like all this other stuff,
Mhm.
and I freaking love it. The credit company, fix and flips, all these other things that you guys are looking to do is amazing. You guys are going to do it. But what you just said, spend all your time and energy, and I would say the most important word is focus on that one thing. Because here's what happens, Amby. You can do a bunch of different things in this business. For me, it is my personality type. Like when I played football, I used to play all the different positions. That's how I got on the field. I was a linebacker. I was an outside linebacker. I played all the special teams. I could play on offense. Like I could play all the things, right? That's what allowed me to be good. And that's a superpower of mine, that I can do a bunch of different things. But I had to focus on like a couple of really, I would say one or two things that really got me on the field. It wasn't like knowing all the positions and everything. It was getting in the weight room and being stronger than everybody on the field, and then just fundamentals in general. Right. But really, number one is like the biggest thing that got me on the field. Right. And that was just straight up focus. That's what I was focused on the most. And honestly, I did not get on the field. I remember my sophomore year of high school. I was tiny, bro. I was like 160 pounds. And I just got laser focused, bro, on getting in the gym. I got massive. I blew up to like 205. All of a sudden, my junior year, I found myself on the field, getting playing time. Right. And that's what took everything off. It was that one thing that I really hammered, which was the weight room. And I made myself stronger than everybody else on the damn field. And that's what got me on the field. And that's what made me successful the way that I was. Right. Was that one thing. Also combined with a bunch of different things that I was working on as I was getting stronger. But it was just one thing that I was really, really focusing on. So when you say this one thing as wholesale, and you guys are direct to seller wholesaling right now, you guys want to focus so much time and energy on that thing until that thing's your heartbeat, right? Because here's what happens. You have a heartbeat, and then you have every other piece of your body. Every other piece of your body does not work if that heart isn't beating. And you want to focus to make sure that this heart is beating so that you can go use all your other body parts. That's essentially what you're trying to do. So take all your time and energy and make sure that your wholesale business is a heartbeat. And once it is a heartbeat, that's when you start pulling away. Right. So I would even challenge you guys to stay in the business, doing more follow-up calls, doing more closing and everything, and build your systems and processes while you're doing that, so that you can then pull somebody up and have them be a lead manager or a closer or whatever. Like in the beginning, bro, I was doing all my own lead management. I was doing all my closing. I never did cold calling. I always had somebody else doing that for me. But as I got better, I built out my sales process. Now I have an 8-step sales process that I teach other people and my team, right? That I can implement to my team, that I had to build out. That took me like time and energy and all this focus on building the wholesale business and building that specific skill that I can scale a business around. Does that make sense? And now that this is a heartbeat, I only have to work in the business 2 or 3 hours a day, and I'm able to be on podcasts, and I'm able to host Zooms, and I'm able to coach, and I'm able to do a sales training. I'm able to do all these other things, right? I'm able to do a fix and flip. I'm able to do creative finance deals and all these different things, right? Because now I have the heartbeat keeping me alive. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, we're so clear.
For sure.
Not at all. Yo, your attention is everything. Where you're putting your attention is everything, and that's actually what I was gonna say before, like my internet cut off. Because when you're talking about the CDL and all this extra stuff, and if y'all aren't focused, your team's not gonna be focused, and if your team's not focused, y'all ain't gonna be doing what y'all want to do, right? And one thing that Mike was just saying is big, right? Like it's okay to stay in your business until you accomplish your goals and until you're forced to be out of it, right? Like I realized I've been trying like the past couple months, I've been trying to get my team to close 6 figures a month, like profit 6 figures a month every month, and we haven't hit the goal. And I'm wondering, like, man, why isn't this happening? And I'm like, duh, you've never done that. I've never done that myself. So how can I teach somebody else to do it if I've never done it? Right. So like we have a really big goal. Real talk, bro. So we have a really big goal right now, and we want to start closing 500K a month and eventually $1 million a month, right? Like that is very possible in this business. There's people doing it today, right? So I'm like, if other people are doing it, there's no reason why I can't do that. So that's our goal. So what I did was I put myself back in the seat, right? And now I'm working more than 2 or 3 hours in this business, and I'm making sure every single part of this business is buttoned up, right? Like these next 90 days is like that's my focus. Like I'm in this seat closing deals as well. Like I need to bring in 3 contracts minimum a week as well with my team. Everybody on my team bring in a contract a day, right? Like that's the only reason how we're gonna get this done. And it's gonna be not with me telling people what to do. It's gonna be me like right here with them, showing them, walking them through it. Like this is how we're gonna do this together, right? And as we do this, then you replace yourself, right? You might. And Wilkin and Amby, would y'all be cool? Do y'all want to see our like org chart, like our organizational chart and our accountability chart that shows like,
Oh yeah.
So right. So one thing that you'll be able to that you should be focusing on while you're working this business is you should always have the big picture in mind, right? You should always have like, okay, if you want to be dispo, right? You want to have a dispo team. What does that look like without you in it, right? Is that going to be VAs? Is that going to be Americans? Are you going to have a sales manager, right? Like how is that? Who's going to be in these seats and who's in these seats right now? And the only way that you'll be able to replace yourself is if this is in front of you and everybody knows what this chart looks like, right? So, and Mike, honestly, when we had Don Rich on here, right? Don was talking about this. Don was talking about having your organizational chart and your accountability chart, right?
Mhm.
So this is huge when you're building a team and you're scaling a business, right? So as you see the top, me and my partner up top, right, has all of our duties for every single day, right? Big relationships, sales, big ideas, raising private money, company culture, right? Close big deals. She's in tech, marketing, big relationships, big ideas, profit and loss, research and development, right? That's all her. So like if any of that stuff is like we don't have marketing, like I know that's her. I can go talk to her. If we're not closing deals, like that's me, right? So at the top of your list, it should have Amby, Wilkin, everybody's jobs listed up, right? Now at the bottom, underneath that, you should have the parts of the business, right? So we have lead generation, you have acquisitions, you have dispositions, you have transaction coordinating, you have underwriting, and we have JV, right? You may not have a JV department, but we have a JV department as well. And also an Asian outreach department that I didn't even add on here yet, right? So if you are currently in this seat, your name needs to be in that seat, right? So you see right here, right? My name is here. I'm the sales manager, right? Toddy's a dispo manager. She's also doing a lead generation, right? I'm doing the underwriting. I'm heading the JV department, right? So my name is on here, but we also have the people underneath who are doing it currently, right? So Kashiv, Rolando, Joseph, they're all lead managers. Isaiah, Shilan, like they're closers, right? But honestly, I need to take him out. And I need to put my name right now because we just had to let some people go, and now it's just me and Zay right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight my name, and what I'm doing is I'm telling myself that I need to pull myself out of this position, right? You see up here, that's the only part that's not highlighted because I'm not leaving this position until I pass this shit on to my little brother or something, right? And he starts running the business. You know what I'm saying? So you need to, Wilkin and Amby, if you guys are wearing these hats right now, So your name needs to be here, right? And you need a sales manager for sure. Like you're not just gonna have closers and lead managers and expect for y'all to not be in the business without having a sales manager that actually watches them, right? And like helps them close deals, right? And is actually there with them, right? So and then right here, right? Like cold callers. We didn't have any cold callers. We didn't have a cold call operation until just recently. I just told you I just hired four VAs, right? How did I know I wanted 4 to 5 VAs? Because I had this already listed out. This shit is already here, right? And it's in yellow because I need somebody there. We hired a dispo VA. That's because I had this here, right? Like everything is laid out, and we this is what we need. Yo,
You only get this type of information in like high level masterminds.
yo, for real. This real talk, bro. I don't know what's been happening lately. Like yesterday, I had the podcast with Marlon and Sam and Alejandro. I dead ass. We did it yesterday, and I unlisted it today, and I told them to unlist it because I dropped way too much value on it. Like I don't know what's been getting into me, bro. Like give it all away.
I
But
love it.
but yeah, like this is what you need to be able to see the picture clear, right? See the big picture, the overall, like what is this business going to look like when Amby and Wilkin are just sitting at the top watching it, right? But right now, you guys are sitting in these seats, and you need to replace yourself in these seats, and you cannot replace yourself unless you know exactly what you want, right? What you want to have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's actually a good way to stay focused. Is there any way we can have a copy of that?
I don't know, man. I may need to bring me some deals or something for that, bro.
What are you working at? What are you working at?
I got you. I'll send this over. I'll send a screenshot of this to y'all when we get offline. But one
I'm gonna
thing
be
I want
honest
to
with you.
that we talk about
No,
though
go ahead.
too, right? With that attention, right? With that focus, you have to remember this wholesaling business is a completely different business than your flipping business, right? Like, do not like if you guys want to wholesale until you have a this is info that Don Rich gave us when we brought him on here. He told us their team they don't even think about flipping or keeping the property until they hit a certain number every month in their wholesale business, right? So you have to remember wholesaling isn't even a real estate business when you really think about it. It's not even a real estate business. It's a marketing and a sales business, right? So y'all need to get really good at marketing and sales. Like when you think about it, acquisitions is marketing, pulling lists, marketing to these sellers and closing them, having good salespeople closing them. Dispo, finding buyers, right? And another thing, well, you should not be finding buyers. You should only be closing buyers on the phone. You should only be selling buyers. So you should have VAs that are cold calling these buyers and getting their criteria, right? And now you're the one closing them. You're marketing to them, right? And now you're the person who's selling them the deal. So it's a marketing and a sales business. So keep that in mind. You don't need to even know about real estate to wholesale. So I would say, like, focus. If I got to tell you one thing, focus on this one thing, on this wholesaling thing. Build your systems out, build your processes out, get your team together, and then go start your other ventures. Like, yo, I'm telling you, I'm not even looking at flips right now. Like, I have to stop myself from buying rentals and buying deals because I'm not hitting my number yet, right? I haven't hit my number yet. So, like, it's gonna take that discipline. If it's a really good deal, like
I know you're
can,
not passing on that though.
right? Like you may not pass on it, right? If it's a crazy smoking hot deal, like all right, keep it. But if it's like a deal that's just like a regular deal where you're gonna make 10, 15K, make that money, make the cash, build your systems and just speed. Get to it and then pull yourself out of this business. And you'll never pull yourself out of the business. You will never be totally out of this business. You will always be 1 foot in, right? You'd always have 1 foot in it, unless you totally replace yourself from the top of that list, right? When that's literally you passing the business off and you taking a tiny percentage of every deal, 5, 10% of each deal that closes, right? So that's what I got. That's what I got to say overall.
I love it, bro. That's really, really, really good advice. I love what you said about the sales manager. This happened to me, bro. I probably between September and December of 2022, we had like a few really slow months. And here's what happened. Towards the end of the summer, we had like the hottest months that we've ever had, right? Like closing is the most deals that I've ever closed in my life in like a 3-month time frame. And we got super, super busy. And what comes with that is a lot of management on transactions. It's building out our transaction coordinator department. It's doing all the type of things that come along with actually doing a significant amount of deals. And what happened is my attention started going like this. Like, here's my acquisitions team. My attention started going here. And my acquisitions team, I thought, could just take care of it. Right. And that was not the case. Because what I realized before, when we were closing all the deals, it's on YouTube. You can go back and watch my YouTubes. I did a series called How to Wholesale. And I literally would hop on a call for an hour every single day with my acquisitions team. And we would talk about leads. And I would be in the weeds, like really talking to sellers, helping them push the ball forward with sellers. Like, that's what a sales manager does. Underwriting, doing all that type of stuff. I was doing that, and then I realized that I stopped doing that once I got super busy with all the transactions plus all my social media stuff, and I turned a blind eye. Come to realize it was me as the sales manager it was my team that was getting everything done, but like they weren't getting across the finish line confidently enough without the help of the sales manager, right? So I had to come back in, and currently I am the sales manager in our business. So same deal. I hop on call calibrations and role plays every single morning with my team. Amby, actually, both of you guys will be able to see that in the training every single day, 8 a.m. in the morning. I get in there with my guy Felipe and everybody else in the training, and we do role plays and call calibrations. That's how we start off the day every single day. Okay. And then after that, later on in the day, well, actually, to start the day before Felipe starts the day, we get on a call and we talk about the leads that are coming up and anything he needs help with and all that type of stuff. It's probably like a 5 to 10 minute call. And then later on in the day, we have another call for like an hour, going over any potential deals that he talked to that day. If I have to hop on the phone with one of his sellers, I can hop on the phone with one of his sellers. And that's just my job as a sales manager. Now we have been doing a deal a week for the past like 8 weeks. Right now we have finally gotten momentum because I'm back here implementing that. So what I need somebody like myself to put myself in the position. Luckily, that's all I have. All I have is that 2 or 3 hours a day that I'm in my wholesale business. Now I'm able to still go out and do a fix and flip and build the community and all that type of stuff. But it took a while to get here. Like before, like maybe a year or two ago, I was the one doing follow-ups. I was the one calling for 8 hours a day, doing all the things. Okay.
Yeah, this is great advice. Great advice, and I really appreciate this.
I think this is what we needed, actually. Definitely, Daryll, what you showed us, it's definitely helped us big time. And I know Wilkin and I are gonna have a long conversation after this.
Oh yeah,
Everything's gonna change after this. So,
Sure.
Mike and Daryll, you guys, man, you guys gave us a lot. Like how Mike was talking about. I think this was like our little mastermind. I say.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is, bro. Exactly what it is, man. And one thing that was really gonna help y'all has really helped me is being able and just comfortable with setting the expectations with everybody up front, right? Like not even just in business, like any relationship you have, bros, set the expectations up front, right? Like what is expected from you, what they should expect, what you should expect from them, what they should expect from you. That way everybody's on the same page. So when shit does go wrong, because it will go wrong, right? Like now you know exactly where it went wrong, right? And whose wrongdoing it was. And you guys both agreed that, look, these are my jobs. This is what I'm going to do. And as brothers, y'all should be able to hold each other accountable, right? So definitely sit down and put that together, map everything out, and definitely implant yourselves back in it and hit that number, right? That y'all wanna make and make this shit a machine.
Upfront contract.
Facts.
Oh, yeah.
Yo,
Talk
what?
that talk, Joy.
Y'all got any other questions for us?
What do we got? What do we got?
I do got a question for you guys.
What
So
you
I
got, bro?
I got this deed. Got this deed, this lead that came in, and the guy he just want to walk away with. He just want to break even. He owed about 90,000 on the mortgage. He said he just want 95, but the deal is too tight. It needs a lot of work. It's a sub 2. I'm thinking it's a sub 2. The ARV is roughly around 200,000. So I know novation won't work, and the property does need a lot of work, probably like 70,000. What are your thoughts? Should we kind of lock it up as a sub 2 and sell it to an investor? And how would that look like?
It's very similar. Me and Daryll are doing a deal together right now. We're doing a wrap deal. Here's what I would say. Actually, I'm doing 2 of these at the moment. There's no room for a fix and flip, whether you're going to do a novation agreement, a regular fix and flip, or a sub 2 and try to like take it down sub 2, put the work in it, then relist it. The spread just isn't there. Reason being, for everybody listening, if he sells it at 200K, Daryll, if you sold the property at 200K on the market, what do you think you're actually walking away with?
Shit, about 180,
Yes,
195, 185, 180.
180, let's call it. So if you sell a property on the market at 200 after Amby does all the work and everything like that, he's really not selling it at 200. He's going to sell it at 180 because you have commissions, you have closing costs, you have concessions, and all these things that go along with selling a property. So the fix and flip doesn't work. Okay. What might work, and I would put a long contingency period in this, is you selling to a buyer who can't get financing for a property for another house, right? Let's just say that there's a contractor in the city that can't get financing because he doesn't report his taxes or something like that. But this guy's a contractor and he could probably get the job done for cheaper. He'll do the work himself. He'll probably get it done for like 40 grand. You get him to give you a down payment, right? Let's call it $20,000 or something like that. And he takes it over with the financing in place. And when you go out and shop it out, you say, hey, seller financing available for this property. Essentially what you're doing is you're going to sell it to him on sub 2 pretty much. And he's going to be the one to take the payments over. He's going to give you a down payment. He's going to be the one to do the rehab and all that type of stuff. Does that make sense? And he's probably going to go live in the property or something. That's your only buyer here. What you need to do though, since it's like it's not really a guaranteed type of deal, like a wholesale deal or like when you're going to buy the property yourself, get a long contingency period in there and be fully transparent with the seller with what's going on. So like this one I'm doing up in New Hampshire, I told the seller literally any and everything, like from A to Z, exactly what was going on in the transaction. We're going to go list it on the MLS. We're going to go find a buyer who can't get financing for a property. I call it our program where we help people get back to home ownership. Right. And we just tell them exactly how it gets done. And they're completely cool with it. So that's something that you could potentially do here. But I let the seller know this is not something that is like guaranteed. We have to go test the marketplace to see if we can make it happen for you.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. Those expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have something to say about that, Amby. If you have something in mind, go for it.
Say that again?
So I have something in mind. You want to share something before I say something?
Oh no, I'm done. I appreciate that, Mike.
Yeah.
Yes, bro.
So we actually working on a wrap right now in Jacksonville, Florida. And it's a perfect wrap because the entry fee is super low and it doesn't need that much work. So we're gonna wrap it. But my question is, I'm working in the lead, and in Jersey foreclosures is a messed up thing over here. This guy, he's open for me to doing sub 2 and taking over the mortgage. But this guy's behind $42,000. What do you do in a situation like that? And this house needs work.
Yeah, what do you got?
So you said is sub 2. He owes $42,000. What is this? Is the one that's a perfect wrap, or this is the one in Jersey?
Oh, this is in Jersey. This is another deal.
Okay. So what is your plan with it? Do you wanna wholesale it? What are you thinking? Wholesale, flip it, or what?
Do it. I don't know what to do with it. It just sounds crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been telling people be careful with like loan mods, doing loan mods and everything like that, because there is in the paperwork, it does tell you like if somebody's going to get a loan modification, they must live in the property, right? They must continue living. Is he living in it right now, the seller?
Vacant.
Vacant? Is it like noticeably vacant?
Yeah.
They need that much work? Okay, so a loan mod wouldn't even work, right? So the only option really is finding a buyer who would pay that 40K off, 42K off. That's really the only other option, or a short sale.
Yeah. Sure, so probably it is.
Yeah.
Probably sure so.
I would do a short sale for sure. How much time do you have on the auction?
I don't have it locked up. It's a lead that just got generated the other day.
When's the auction? Do you know?
Oh, auction. Oh, no, I don't know. Jersey's weird, man. They be delaying and they be having their own tricks. It's hard in Jersey, man. We were like door knocker for a few months, and every lead we got, they were behind like 5, 7, 8 years. Like, it's just a really, I don't know. It's just Jersey's terrible, bro. That's all I can say.
I had a lead like that in Jersey before too. It was like they were like the bank was like it was like some scam going on with the bank. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy. And this dude, they ended up foreclosing him, but it was after like 8 years. So with that being said, why the hell are y'all wholesaling in New Jersey?
Oh, now we out of here. We out of here. We doing a little bit of marketing in Jersey to catch any good fix and flips, and if not wholesale. But now we started working in North Carolina. We just did a deal there. And they Mike, I reached out to you. I think I reached out to you too, Daryl, about a memorandum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a deal there. Yeah, North Carolina. We closed a deal there, and Georgia. We're working in Georgia. As well, because it's a really good market there.
Yo, can you post, Mike? If I post a link in the chat, will people be able to click it, or do they have to like copy and paste it?
Yeah, they gotta copy and paste it, but let's not be lazy.
Yeah, don't be lazy. I mean, if you want the sauce, then here. If you don't, then be lazy. I don't care. But this is how you file a memorandum. It's a loom on how I filed a memorandum online. It costs like $70.
You're gonna get people mad. You're gonna be like, "Yo," people are gonna be like, "Daryll, you got to stop giving out all the information." I'm like,
yeah, bro. I recommend you doing this on like every deal if you can. File the memorandum. It costs like $70. You can do it online. It literally takes less than 24 hours to get it done. So very simple process. It's literally like a 7-minute loom video. If that, it's a 5-minute loom video showing how to file a memorandum. So Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, yeah.
Maybe we'll do an episode on memorandums, because I bet there's people watching right now that are like, "What the heck is a memorandum?"
Remember what?
A memorandum. I love it.
Memorandums are great.
This is great. Episode 50, everybody.
50, baby. Let's go, man. Yo, Wilkin and Amby, I'm super grateful that we were able to bring you on today, and it seems like we solved some problems for y'all. So what we want to do is we're gonna bring y'all back on. Mike, we say like what, 6 months from now? See if we can bring them back on and see what's changed in these next 6 months, right? So like, yo, lock in, man. Lock in. If I'm talking to myself right now, I'm telling myself, yo, forget about fix and flipping, forget about CDLs, forget about Bitcoin, focus on wholesaling, lock in on wholesaling.
Yeah, get locked, bro.
So I already know y'all are gonna crush it. Focus, man, is everything. I know y'all are gonna crush it. Y'all look like y'all started off crushing it for sure. Y'all gonna get back to it in no time. I see y'all doing 6 figures a month, easily doing whatever honestly y'all put y'all mind to. Right, like I see it in y'all eyes. So I'm super excited for what y'all got to come, and I'm grateful that y'all were able to jump on here and we're open to listening to us today.
Awesome, man. It's a
So, Mike,
pleasure.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys for having us, up here as well as a platform and giving us these nuggets. I think you guys took our business to another level, giving us a different perspective of wholesaling. And number one thing, of course, is focus. And I think just wanted to say something. The number one thing that I got out of this was definitely the chart that you showed, Daryll. I think we needed that 100%.
I
Really
got
good.
you. I'll drop it for y'all. And I'll text it to one of y'all when we get off of here. So I got y'all for sure. Yo, Mike, you got anything else before we wrap it up, bro?
Nah, I appreciate y'all. I'm super excited to see where you guys go. Like whatever you guys need, we're here for it, and I'm excited. This is Daryll. This is what gets me going as I'm like transitioning into more of coaching rather than doing wholesale deals. Like this is the cool stuff. Seeing people's business like take off. This is freaking great. So I'm really really excited to see you guys take off. It's gonna be dope.
Awesome,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Get it. Well, you guys are gonna see us 6 months from now, man. It's gonna be a whole different business.
Yes, sir.
It's a different ball game.
Oh,
Yeah.
episode 50. Hey, the good episode 50, by the way. Like,
Nice.
way to hit it off with a bang.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Like that talk, dude.
Sir. Yo, this is Wholesale Hard Knocks episode 50. We will catch y'all next week, same time every Wednesday at 4 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock Eastern time. We'll catch y'all next week.